Working internet connection. Gotta like that. Hello, everybody. It is Wednesday once again, which means it's time for a new episode of the new Comic Book Day Rundown. I am Dustin. I'm the PR coordinator for Dark Horse Comics, and today I am joined by
Brett Israel, assistant editor.
Very nice to have you here. As you've noticed, we do have a little bit of a change of scenery. We are in the editorial conference room here at Dark Horse because Brett happens to be an editor. And we're going to be talking about some of the books that he helped work on. So that's exciting.
Yes.
We've got a lot of good stuff for you today. Just a reminder that this year we are doing our contest a little bit differently. Instead of picking one item to win, you actually have an opportunity to win all of the items, and all you have to do is just share this video. So go ahead and share away. We will pick a winner and notify you by tomorrow. We also would like to remind you that if you have any questions about Dark Horse Comics that you would love to have answered, go ahead and feel free to drop those questions below in the comments. We will either answer those live on today's video, or we will get you next week if we happen to get those comments after we have finished our live cast. One bit of exciting news that I would like to talk about before we dive into all this and before we dive into our digital sales for this week, that is that we just announced that Dark Horse is going to be publishing the Breath of the Wild art book with Nintendo. As many of you probably know, we've had a long-standing partnership with Nintendo, and it's really been ramping up lately with announcements like the encyclopedia for Mario, and now this. We are just getting close to wrapping up a trilogy of books documenting the history of Hyrule. So we did the Hyrule Historia, we did the Legend of Zelda Art and Artifacts, and next month we've got the Legend of Zelda Encyclopedia coming up.
Yes.
And then we'll have this awesome Breath of the Wild art book coming at you later as well. So that's exciting. And I'm going to let Brett talk about our first digital sale for this week.
So this week we have a Hellboy digital mega bundle sale. You can buy all of the Hellboy single issues and trades for like $100. It's $99.99 for a limited time. Having recently read all of them in a very condensed amount of time, there's no drop off. They're all amazing, so you definitely want to get this while you can. It's a great deal.
Yeah, great deal. $99.99 for all things Hellboy. And speaking of Hellboy, we have a separate mega bundle. As many of you know, Hellboy, in what I call the Mignolaverse, Hellboy has a lot of spin-offs, one of which is Witchfinder, which is also awesome. It is set during Victorian times in London. We are also doing a separate mega bundle for all things Witchfinder. That's going to be only $14.99, and single issues are going to be 99 cents on that sale. So lots of Mike Mignola material for you to pick up on Dark Horse Digital this week. We will drop links for that below in the comments once we are done with our live broadcast here. Now we can jump into what's new on sale this week. I'm going to let Brett take it away with Ether Copper Golems.
Yes. So Ether is back. Long-awaited return of Ether Copper Golems. So you can see this variant cover by Paul Pope. You don't see enough Paul Pope, so you should get this one. So essentially jumping back off from the end of the last series, Boone Diaz is briefly back on Earth before he's sucked back into the Ether for more cataclysmic adventuring. As portals are opening between Earth and the Ether, he essentially needs to go around with his group of friends or acquaintances.
Yeah, very different color palettes.
Yeah. He's awesome. I love getting to work on these books. So.
And he worked on the Black Hammer spin-off, Sherlock Frankenstein, so you might possibly recognize some of David Rubin's art from that.
Yes. Which
fits very well within Jeff Lemire's universe as well. So Ether is by Matt Kindt. For anybody who's maybe not read the first series, Ether follows a scientific explorer, Boone Diaz, who figures out a way to go to another dimension called the Ether. And there he's trying to solve a murder mystery by magic. But his whole thing is that magic is a different form of science. It's just something that we simply don't understand yet. And that there's a perfectly logical scientific explanation for magic and everything that occurs in this alternate dimension called the Ether, where everything seems to defy the laws of science and physics as we know it.
Yes.
So it's a very, very fascinating series, and we're super excited to have it back here at Dark Horse for a second run.
Yes, for sure.
I'm going to hop into Usagi Yojimbo, the hidden number 3. I should be punished for that joke. that was a bad one.
That was a bad joke.
That was a bad dad joke. So this is The Adventures of Stan Sakai's Rabbit Ronin. This is continuing with Usagi Yojimbo the Hidden, number 3. Usagi and Inspector Ishida have been investigating the deaths of 2 samurai. They end up stumbling upon some shogunate officials. Shogunate would be people that work for the shogun, which is a military ruler in Japan. This is set in Edo period Japan, which was a time of major civil war when there was no central government, so they were under military rule. It's a little bit of history lesson for you with some anthropomorphic fun animals thrown in on top of it. Back to the description. On the heels of unraveling exactly what everyone is after, the duo is stopped in their tracks and there are assassins afoot. I love Stan Sakai's cartooning. There's some beautiful artifacts in a shop that they go into in this one. It's just phenomenal. Anybody who's been watching this show knows that Usagi Yojimbo is one of my favorites, and if you haven't read it, we can't be friends. So that's just basically all you need to know.
And Stan Sakai does everything on these books.
Everything. Writing, drawing, lettering. It's definitely an Eisner winning letterer?
I think
He's nominated for lettering.
He's nominated this year. He's nominated every year,
right.
but I'm sure he's won at some point.
He's one of the few people that still hand letters, so you're getting a unique experience with his personality in each of the letters, each of the characters, which is super unique and cool. So,
Yeah.
Good
Okay.
stuff.
American Gods.
New American Gods.
New American Gods. So take a look at both of these covers. You can see this David Mack cover as well. So the trip across America essentially continues with Wednesday and Shadow going to Las Vegas to look to recruit another old god in their war with the new gods. So that's essentially what the conceit of this story is. It's the old versus the new gods. This is a great adaptation. Pete Craig Russell's back. He's been with us the whole time. With Scott Hampton and Jennifer T. Lange. She does the colors with him on the art. It's part of the Neil Gaiman Library. Fans of the book and fans of the show will know that this is a very faithful adaptation to the book.
Yes.
And the show kind of veers on in its own direction a little bit, but this is very, very close to the novel. Yep, it's a very fun book. Let's see if I can find a...
That's definitely been one of the consistent bits of praise, is that it's such a faithful adaptation of the book.
Yeah, here's a page where they decide to go to Vegas.
A little bit of Vegas-tastic artwork there.
Very bright. Colors are very saturated on occasion when they need to be. So, like this Vegas spread. Yeah.
And I think it's fun that the artwork has a little bit of a 90s vibe, because it's kind of, I feel like that sort of harkens to back when the novel originally was out. I'm also excited about this. We've got a new Burger Books edition here. So this is the originals, the Essential Edition hardcover. So this is a deluxe oversized edition of the Eisner Award-winning mod sci-fi coming-of-age graphic novel from Dave Gibbons. If you don't know Dave Gibbons, you should know him as the co-creator of The Watchmen. He is the artist for that. This is a very exciting volume. It includes never-before-seen development art. It's got all kinds of process pieces and behind-the-scenes extras, and it's all annotated by Gibbons himself. It's got this super expansive sketchbook section, which is just amazing. Show off a little bit of that here for you. I love this too, because Dave Gibbons really is typically known more as an artist, but this is the first work that he's written and drawn. And it's an Eisner Award winner, so yeah, know that it's good. I think this next page has some character drawings. This is kind of a combination of being inspired by 60s London and futurism. So there's a lot of mod fashion influence, and also a lot of biker gang influence all kind of mashed together. And a lot of it has to do with Dave Gibbons' experience growing up in London at that time, and some of the different bike gangs that he encountered. I've heard that story directly from his British mouth. And it's fascinating. So highly recommend the originals. It's just in an absolutely gorgeous presentation here in this hardcover.
Yeah. It's very. Dave Gibbons is a true living legend. I don't think we talk about a huge amount. I think.
Yeah, he's definitely not talked about enough.
Yeah, he is.
You should be talking about him more.
Yes, for sure.
He's also nominated for an Eisner in their Hall of Fame.
Yes, he is.
So, for sure. Lastly, so let's talk about Jam. So we were prepared for an earthquake, we had a flood plan in place, and we even dealt with zombies probably. But no one expected the end to be quite so sticky or strawberry scented. Jam.
Strawberry jam. In case you
In case you couldn't tell.
In case you couldn't tell, that was where we're going with that.
So this new edition of Jam in this very affordable trade paperback brings Yahtzee Croshaw, his work back in print. This book is absurd. It's great. Post-apocalyptic, current apocalyptic type book. If you're afraid of spiders, be warned. But,
Forewarned.
Yes.
Fair warning.
But it's a fun book, so definitely should check it out.
And Yahtzee Croshaw is a great humorist. He's one of the few prose authors that we publish pretty regularly. So this is not books with pictures. This time, this is regular books, which are great as well. We like those too. But we've published We'll Save the Galaxy for Food, and then we're also publishing Mogworld next week, which is also another Yahtzee Croshaw new edition. So, Yahtzee.
It was very unenthusiastic with Yahtzee.
Oh, I should have been bigger with that. Yahtzee!
There you go.
All right, well, you got it. And that's pretty much all I've got for you today.
Yeah.
So just as a reminder, check out our digital sale. We will go ahead and drop those links for you. Remember to share this video if you want to win all this awesome swag. And make sure that you tune in next Wednesday for another episode of the new Comic Book Day Rundown. We will see you then.